Anyway, gang, welcome back to Catch Chronicles. I'm here with my my sweet cheese, Javi. We've got Jimmy on the board.
Jimmy.
Today, my friends, we're going to be talking about
A nod, sorry. Jimmy just gives me a nod.
Jimmy?
Like they're gonna see it. Just say hi, something, Jimmy. Give us something other than a fucking nod from behind the camera. There we go.
Oh, good to see you, bro.
Good to see you, brother.
Now that we've established roll call,
We can get on with it.
Javi's sorry,
Javi's a little sour.
Physically and emotionally.
He took a balls of root and kidney shot today, a liver punch.
Man, put me
Hit the
right
fucking
down,
deck.
Right down. Strong boy, that one.
Student has become master.
Well, I thought easy.
Because they were shutting down the gym.
Yeah, we're gonna have to spar again.
easy.
Please don't insult.
Gym's done. All right,
That's
so
it. No, you're teaching now, Jimmy. That's it. Like you knock me down. It's all the pressure's on you, no man. You got 8 a.m. tomorrow morning.
we've got
Michael's in. You got get your grappling ready. Sorry.
Jimmy's teaching drunken geezer style.
Nice. That's it.
That's
Yeah,
it. Drunk Antalya.
The unstoppable form.
crush a couple cans and hit him in the liver.
That's it.
And then smoke a joint.
And speaking of new disciplines,
Ooh, please.
today we're talking Shooto, and we're talking fighting network rings. So we're doing a little twofer here today. We're gonna get Satoru Sayama, Tiger Mask,
Yeah.
and Akira Maeda, the sour son of a bitch in MMA. We're gonna get them in one go.
Cool.
So we're gonna start with Satoru Sayama, Shooto, Tiger Mask. What do you know?
Not. They have the best shin guard, knee guard, boot combination things, right? Like
Style over substance for Javi.
I mean, no. It's all substance. The fact that like the shin guard that covers the knee. Because I have a spot my knee right here from sparring the other day. When you make knee on knee contact, it's the fucking worst. Those things are beautiful. They came like right up top over here. I want those. I know that's like,
Okay,
I
so
need
the
to
legacy
find
of Shooto
yes.
has been boiled down to protecting one's shins.
Well, it's one of the most important things for sure, and the fact that the fact that you could actually grapple with shin guards is actually a really big deal. That's one of the things that really set it apart, which you generally can't do. Like those things it's an actual thing. So Shooto, as far as I understand, open hand strikes were allowed. You close fist to the body, open hand strikes to the face, and grappling. All submissions were allowed. Is that correct?
More or less. There was a lot of kicking, a lot of kneeing.
Yeah.
It was open concept as a philosophy, and then when it became kind of a circuit, the rules came and went and changed, especially as, Valley Tudo Japan started. But initial Shooto, more or less that vein. But before Shooto, Satoru Sayama has a huge influence. So Shooto is like not the thing he's most famous for. He's born in 1957 in Yamaguchi. So he's kind of coming in right at the cusp of that Japanese economic miracle, where like Japan starts to become a powerhouse in industry, in a way that doesn't make sense for the devastation they had incurred on them just about a decade earlier. So this is
They were supposed to be like
This is-
financially ruined
this
for like
is
30
12
years.
this is
or
12
something.
years after Nagasaki and
Right.
in Hiroshima.
And they're like,
You know what I mean? And then basically through a lot of like American stimulation and stuff like that, but through heavy industry and a focus on tech, Japan's going to move into like the third strongest economy in the world in the 60s.
apparently, it might have been the fact that they didn't have a military as well. Apparently, might have been
Yeah.
part of the influence.
Oh,
as well.
like you saying that like you don't have to put all your money into the
into
all
ridiculous-
your tax money into the military?
Apparently, there is some evidence that is the case, sir.
Wild. Wild.
That's a great plus.
So he's coming up as a teenager at the height of the Japanese economic miracle. And as a kid, he's training in judo, amateur wrestling. He goes to the New Japan dojo in his teens, assumedly after high school. But these guys didn't always graduate high school. You know what I mean? You don't have to go play college ball. You can go straight to the NBA.
Right.
He makes his debut at 18 years old in 76. So I'm going to say he probably joined the dojo 16, 17 years old.
That's a quick turnaround.
There is a problem with this, though, is that he was 160 pounds. Now, nowadays, you'll see main event big star wrestlers who maybe they're saying they're 200 pounds, but they ain't.
Right.
You know what I mean? WrestleMania was last weekend. CM Punk, I'd be hard-pressed to believe CM Punk is 218, 220 pounds. You know what I mean? I'd say he's probably closer to about 190 and 195 maybe. He's old, settling in. 160 pounds at this point is a kiss of death.
And is he fairly short as well?
Yeah. I think he's booked at like 5'8", 5'9". That's pretty generous.
I mean, fairly standard for Japanese, though, you'd think?
That's average height for a person.
Yeah.
That's
but for a
wrestler,
what am I talking about? Of course.
5'8", 160 pounds for a Japanese person is a completely reasonable height. That's a completely reasonable height for, I think 5'8" or 5'9" is the average Canadian height.
Yeah.
That's my dream. 5'9".
Surgery.
Yeah, I'm gonna get that South Park rhinoplasty.
100%.
So he's way too small. You know what I mean? Even for a junior heavyweight wrestler, which there were more of in Japan at the time than, say, in America, that's too small. So, he does the traditional young boy thing. He's getting jobbed out. In Japanese wrestling, always kind of, your first year, you don't win. You know what I mean? Even the ones that they think is going to be the biggest star and the guy they're going to build the company around, he's going to lose for a year.
Kind of fair, right? You pay your dues.
You pay your dues, and it's Japanese honor system. It's Bushido. It's not strange, right? And then they send him away on learning excursions. So that's another big Japanese thing. Is to send a wrestler away to learn different styles in different places. And usually it's America, Mexico, England.
Okay.
Sometimes Germany. But
Germany has some wrestlers?
Germany, Austria had a lot of a big pro wrestling culture into the 90s.
Interesting.
Even now, one of the biggest independents is in Germany, WXW. The best professional wrestler on earth right now is an Austrian guy. Gunther, shout out Gunther.
Jimmy agrees.
Best in the biz. So Sayama, he goes to England where he wrestles as Sammy Lee because Bruce Lee. That's pretty much it. And he picks up a lot of things from Rollerball Rocco, Mark Rocco, and Dynamite Kid, who would go on to be big kind of feuds of his throughout his career in wrestling. And he's learning a lot of this hard-hitting scientific, what they would call chain wrestling, technical style wrestling from these English cats who are, these are guys who are loosely affiliated with Wigan.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're Northern English guys.
Chain wrestling being just, when you're really...
rolling.
Yeah.
Holds. Exchanging holds, going from one hold to another.
And the idea is you're doing it fairly seamlessly. It's one of the highest levels of
exactly.
wrestling.
It's something I've always really enjoyed. It doesn't make a lot of money.
Okay.
It's not very dramatic.
Right.
But it's kind of a wrestling purist thing. And it's very big in the time in England for world of sport wrestling, you know what I mean? And then he heads to Mexico where he learns lucha libre, which it's kind of weird to explain to people that don't watch wrestling how different lucha libre is from American style pro wrestling.
Take a minute because I've always been curious about this, and I've spent time in Mexico. This whole tattoo is dedicated to Mexico. Yeah. But what is the difference?
Logic.
Or why is there such a...
The difference would be logic, largely.
Logic?
There is none. There's always been, especially in the main event, lucha libre stars that wrestle kind of an American, more narrative style, try to make it more believable.
Okay.
But a lot of lucha libre, stylistically, that's where all of the acrobatic stuff comes from. The spins, the twists, the dives, a lot of just silliness, and high-flying maneuvers, flips, planchas.
Just standing on another dude's shoulder and jumping.
Yeah, a lot of
things.
Flagrant cooperation. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Which...
okay.
really should be like the exact opposite of what you put on. The more you're cooperating,
The more obviously that it's not.
yeah,
real.
like the more it's a work.
Yeah.
Like
Obvious.
like
work.
like obvious work. You can't. The suspension of disbelief is pretty difficult when you're doing a lot of very like hand-holding, cooperative, acrobatic stunt work.
Can I ask you one question?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a Mexican soap opera? There
Bits
are.
and pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Apparently, the suspension of disbelief is
that is my point.
yeah, desperate for fantasy, perhaps.
I mean, wow.
Was it just is an interesting thing is how seriously the fans take it, though, even though
Oh yeah,
That's my point.
Very hot, very hot.
elaborate and silly, like in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like as from the fans over, they're taking it as if they're watching a fight.
Nope.
It's like they're watching
Yeah.
a fight. Like, yeah.
Which is, I mean, sometimes when you look at like some of the wrestling that still would get a crowd to riot in the 60s and 70s in America, you could also be like, the fuck are you upset about? Oh, I'm sorry. Did he really throw powder in his eyes and the referee didn't notice? Like, really? So, like, yeah. The suspension of disbelief clearly exists, but for me, I think for a lot of people, like, I find Lucha Libre somewhat painful to watch. Especially like trios matches, which is like 6-man tags, and there's very loose rules and in and out, and there's always like little people getting absolutely destroyed. Some of the things they do to these little people is fucking like, you can't learn how to fall like that.
Right.
We'll watch some clips someday.
Sure.
It's as funny as it is disturbing. So he goes and picks up and excels quite a bit at both the English style and the Mexican Lucha Libre style. And he's also got Karl Gotch and Antonio Inoki and Tatsumi Fujinami trading him. So he's excelling at all these different things, and they come together to kind of create this hybrid junior heavyweight style that no one has ever seen until in 1981, New Japan calls Sayama back from his excursions to take on the Tiger Mask character.
So he's fighting Tiger Mask at this point, or becoming Tiger Mask?
He's becoming Tiger
Okay,
Mask.
sorry, right.
I suppose take on is a little ambiguous.
Right.
To embody the Tiger Mask character. And Tiger Mask, we've talked about him before briefly.
Anime.
Popular anime, started in 1968.
Oh wow. So it's like those were animes that were big back then. Those are huge. Like
These are huge legacy properties,
yeah.
right? So they've got movies, they've got TV shows, they've got manga, they've got all the marketing, all the merchandising. And at the time, this is a super risky move for New Japan, and a lot of people don't like it because it's delegitimizing, right? Like you're going to dress him up like a fucking cartoon character, right?
Literally.
Like you're literally dressing him up as a cartoon character brought to life. A lot of purists don't like it. I'm sure a lot of the guys in the locker room didn't like it. I don't know if Sayama liked it. You know what I mean? Sayama takes himself pretty fucking seriously.
Yeah.
But he comes in 81. His first kind of his first real rival, Dynamite Kid. Again, Wigan guy, Calgary guy, one of the greatest of all time. Absolute piece of shit human. But incredible. Like Bret Hart calls him his best opponent. Like Bret Hart, like is kind of like, this is Dynamite's the best wrestler ever. And they show up with this hard-hitting, exciting, fast-paced, technical, high-flying style no one's ever seen, and they straight up revolutionize wrestling. Like wrestling is not the same because of this, and it's not just Dynamite. It's Rollerball, Rocco. There's Cobra. There's a few other guys, but like generally it gets put down to Sayama and Dynamite, Tom Billington, as the guys that change professional like one match in it, nobody has any problems with this cartoon character anymore.
Shit.
The match is so good that everyone shuts their damn mouth and gets behind Tiger Mask because Tiger Mask is going to the moon. That's it. And they're brought in to different promotions around the world just to have their match. Like
Jesus.
Tiger Mask might just go to Madison Square Garden once. You know what I mean? Like he's not going there to work a program and be on TV every week to
Build up the
get
thing
someone
and-
over or to
yeah,
get
yeah,
over.
yeah.
It's literally, this match is so good, we're gonna throw it on this Madison Square Garden card just to blow everybody's mind. And it's kind of like the harbinger for everything to come since then. Like, basically, there's 3 styles in wrestling after this, or right now,
Okay.
let's say. There's the Dynamite Kid Tiger Mask style, there's the Bret Hart Shawn Michaels style, and there's the shit style. There's just like the garbage ECW, lazy, fat guy, blood and guts style.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, there's only like...
The filler fights, like the.
Not even. I wish it was just filler fights. Like there's the if you saw the John Moxley thing where he got like a cricket bat with nails stuck in his back on live TV,
Real nails.
and they're sticking, like they're pulling his skin and they can't get it out, and there's the referee and another wrestler trying to wiggle it out of his back on live TV. That's not good. That's not what we want. Anybody who wants to watch that, like, it's fucked up.
So
I don't want to watch
basically,
that.
It's just like it's the pain thing to an extreme. It turns basically into like.
It's porn. It's like gore
gladiatorial-
porn.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what he had like put into his bag.
That is fucking ridiculous.
It's gross.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Fucking
No,
things like this big.
When they're trying to remove it, you can see it's like ripping flesh.
Yeah, it's like pulling his
That's what it
skin with like if you've ever gotten stitches on your back or
Yeah.
something, and they're kind of snugging it up, right? It's fucking stupid. It's gross. It's for 12-year-olds, right? It's for like me as a 12-year-old. It's like, I want to watch Jackass and guys get
Right,
hurt
right.
because I'm an angry young white man. You know what I mean? Like, it's garbage.
Still the first jacket.
And then everyone who's doing anything else interesting in wrestling is pretty much ripping off Dynamite Kid and Tiger Mask.
Okay.
That's the point. That was what I was trying to say.
He brought it around.
We got there.
Yeah.
So we're seeing moves for the first time. The missile dropkick from the top rope, the moonsault, backflip kicks, karate kicks, SWAT kicks. All this stuff is being introduced to the wrestling audience by Tiger Mask in the early 80s.
That's fascinating.
And his popularity is through the roof. He's just behind Antonio Inoki as far as being a top star in Japanese wrestling. And this is like he's kind of turning around a down period in Japanese wrestling. He's introducing merchandising possibilities through this licensing agreement with the Tiger Mask anime that have never been thought possible. And he's kind of like putting the junior heavyweight division into a place it's never been before. Junior heavyweights...
What's the weight class for junior heavyweights?
Junior heavyweight just... it was, at the time, it was probably like under 220 or under 215. In America, it would be under 220. Because wrestling's always been a big guy business.
I think that's one thing that I have that I don't fully wrap my head around is that
Because in fighting heavyweight, it'd be like 200, right?
for the UFC, like 205 is light heavy, and anything over that is heavyweight. So
Yeah.
Up to
Two-
260.
Up to 260.
And then you have your supers.
No super.
that's it.
No
Every
super.
half
265.
weight.
Yeah, you have to be. Shane Carwin and Brock Lesnar were the biggest people to get in to the ring at the same time. They're both 265.
Okay.
But yeah, that was a big cut. I forgot.
Which is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
the big cut, yeah.
So is there really only 2 divisions then? Is there just heavyweights and junior heavyweights?
That's it. To this day, there's only that.
Oh.
And
okay.
the thing in most of wrestling is that you can always fight up. So
Right.
if you're like fucking 5'10", 190, but you're the most over guy in the world, like say like Bryan Danielson, who is probably 5'8", 5'9", 185, 190.
Shredded.
And at one, not even shredded, functional. But was so undeniably over that like, oh, you can be the heavyweight champ now. And his style was so believable that like you could put him in the ring with Brock Lesnar, and his kicks looked good, and his submissions were so good, his technical work was so good that like, so you can fight up. A lot of heavyweight champions probably weren't heavyweights.
Okay.
Eddie Guerrero wasn't a heavyweight. Rey Mysterio has been the heavyweight champion. He's smaller than me. You know what I mean? He's like 5'4", 5'3".
So really, there's just no. Even to the joke about the idea there's a weight class is kind of silly.
Now weight class is kind of silly and almost non-existent. I don't think the WWE has a weight class at all. And then like something like Total Nonstop Action Wrestling has like the X division, so that it's for junior heavyweight style, light heavyweight style wrestlers, high flying guys. But you can also win the belt if you're like a huge dude who just wrestles like that.
Oh.
Which
so
is the fakest shit in the world, right? Like, sorry, what do I have to do to qualify for this title? A flip? Like, it doesn't. It's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard.
Flip, good, go.
Yeah. But I mean, they're fighting for the Texas Brass Knuckles Championship. They didn't have brass knuckles on. What the fuck does that mean? So he's making junior heavyweight wrestling a draw in a way that it's never been. Like, especially in Japan, junior heavyweight was kind of just like, oh, you start as a junior heavyweight, and then you get older and you put on more mass, and then you become a heavyweight. So you pay your dues as junior heavyweight. Tatsumi Fujinami started as a junior heavyweight. Someone like Naomichi Marufuji or something.
If you're 21, you don't have your full. You don't have
Yeah.
your full person. So
They're not expecting you, like, you're not gassed up.
Yeah.
And in Japan, it was always kind of about getting bigger, not getting shredded. You know what I mean? Like their thing in Japan, even to this day, is like, you'll see like a big dude.
Yeah.
Who's not, he has like little to no definition. That's not weird.
Yeah.
He's just got to just get bigger.
Yeah.
Just be big. So he's revolutionizing the business straight up across the world, but particularly in Japan. And he doesn't like it. He does not like being in the wrestling business anymore. He's kind of sick of it. He's spending a lot of time training with like Victor Koga, who's like a sambo instructor.
Oh shit.
He's working with Toshio Fujiwara, who's like this crazy 99 kickboxing victories kind of dude. This one of Japan's best kickboxing coaches. He trained in judo and amateur wrestling when he was growing up, and he's getting a little pissed off with the politics of wrestling. The wrestling locker room it's probably the healthiest it's ever been right now, unless you're in AEW. But like has always been a notoriously political place because it's a fighting business that's rigged.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
the more popular and more people like you, the more you're gonna.
Yeah, but also there's a lot of that doesn't work for me, brother.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I'm not putting that guy over. There's a lot. That's how we got the Montreal Screwjob. That's how Hulk Hogan made a career.
I'm sure there was. I don't get it, burn, but that sounded like a burn.
Yeah, no, it's a burn. Fuck you, Hulk. Fuck you, Terry.
Terry is Hulk Hogan's name.
There's only one Terry. Terry Ferris.
Oh.
Yeah, Terry. Yeah, not as intimidating now, is it?
No, not new.
To be fair, have you ever looked at Hulk Hogan and found him intimidating?
The
Even when
collar
even at 6'7" or whatever he was, like it was always like Macho Man punched out Hulk Hogan. Yeah, of course he did. Fuck, give me a step stool, I'll do it. So he's in the office. He kind of knows, like, you know what? I'm the most popular guy in this locker room, but he's never gonna get above Inoki. Inoki's
he's
the president.
God status.
Like Inoki started the company. You know what I mean? He's sick of the reindeer games, and he retires in 1983. So he takes over as Tiger. He debuts in 76. He takes the Tiger Mask gimmick in 81.
81.
Changes the business, leaves in 83. Done.
That's bananas.
He's going to train in martial arts. He's done with this.
Because it's got to be like, for someone who is obviously this physically talented, he must be training his ass off to be able to do the things that he's doing, to be able to present this in a way like that. It's got to be difficult to be like, wait, I have to lose to that motherfucker?
A lot of that.
Whatever.
Which is kind of where like the whole MMA revolution comes from, right? Is a lot of just, I gotta lose this fucking guy? Like, everybody knows I'd cream him. We go, they have the dojo, right? They have the dojo. They have amateur wrestling matches. They have catch wrestling, shoot fighting matches at the dojo. Just
they feel each
for
other
shits and giggles, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Karl Gotch is there, just
fucking people up.
Just goading them constantly to beat each other up.
Can you imagine?
What are you gonna do? Say no?
That.
So he retires. He's gonna go train in martial arts. He's retiring. That lasts like 6 months, and then he joins the UWF, which we have spoken about before. Of course, the UWF, the great granddaddy of Pride. To sum it up, Sayama is a difficult person to deal with backstage, especially at this point with the UWF. And it's fair to say that his value of the company was equal to the agitation. Like, he comes in, they're struggling, they're new. He's the biggest star they could possibly get. They've already got a guy who's supposed to be the big star.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But now he's the new big star, and he wants to do everything his way. He doesn't want to lose. He's going to give very little to his opponents in the matches. And
It's not even going to be close.
Yeah, like he's not going to make it like a competitive, exciting, dramatic match.
Yeah,
he just wants to go fucking cream a guy, right?
Yeah.
Which he probably could cream a significant amount of them. But there's a lot to be said for just being smaller.
Yeah. I can attest.
Very, very rarely does the small guy beat the big guy. But Tiger Mask wants to beat the... Yeah, you got put down... like, no offense to Jimmy, but Jimmy would be a novice in this kind of thing. Whereas you're a coach.
And he put me down.
But he's a big boy with a good shot, and he got one in on you, and you're down, right? Like, that's fucking fighting.
And that was 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fighting. Good job, Jimmy. I loved it. It was a wonderful video. It's just, you know how many fantasies I've had about that in the middle of a fucking card game?
The only times I have when he's been beating me.
Yeah, I suppose I wasn't actually getting beaten up.
One day when I get a little bit fair,
The day has come. So he's getting a bit of a reputation in this locker room. Nobody really likes him. And somehow Akira Maeda is the champion of the locker room, which is so funny when we get into Akira Maeda that anyone would ever... Well, he'd be the champion of anybody but Akira Maeda. Tensions boil over. They got a mid-match shoot, a couple of mid-match shoots. So a couple times where they're going out to have a wrestling match. A wrestling match that's supposed to look like a real fight. Because this is the birth of more serious-looking work shoot, legitimate-looking pro wrestling fights.
Even with some of his more theatrical moves, it's still supposed to be...
He's leaving a lot of those out now.
Okay.
So in the UWF, you're not going to see the backflips.
Oh,
you know what I mean? You're going to see more of the karate-style kicks, things like that. Because also, like, one of the big points of contention is that Sayama wants to get this a little further from pro wrestling and a little closer to kickboxing. Mm-hmm. He's trying to get it more strike base, whereas Maeda and a lot of the Fujiwara, a lot of the guys that started it, they're into catch wrestling.
Yeah. Because it's the best.
Because catch is the best. That's why we're doing a podcast on it. So there's a couple of matches where these guys are in the main event together, and they're not getting along, and they're throwing live rounds. You know what I mean? And particularly one where maybe Maeda throws a low blow. Could have been kind of an abdominal shot. Could have been a low blow. Kind of hard to tell. And Tiger Mask, pretty much, he's had enough. He's out. He's done. He leaves the company. And with him leaving the company, within a year, the company's done. They lost their biggest star.
Sorry, can we just backtrack 1 second? Is there anything in place? I mean, they've been doing this for a long time. Obviously, it's supposed to be a work. If it turns into a shoot, are there anyone who's supposed to come in and is there anything set up in place if something like that happens?
Not really. The referee can always call it.
Okay.
You'll see in certain instances, we're going to talk about one later, where the promoter, like Antonio Inoki, comes down and pretty much just disrupts the whole thing to get a DQ finish.
Wow.
But everybody knows, something went wrong. That's
not...
None of this makes sense. So basically, no. If you decide you're going to have a real fight in the middle of this match, more or less you're going to get a winner and a loser, or someone's going to storm off, which is a bad look.
Which has happened. I mean, I think you mentioned that.
Oh, it happens. It doesn't happen very often now, but it happened a lot in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're going to talk about a few of them.
Cool.
But yeah, so his leaving UWF cripples UWF. They don't make it much longer.
A year, they're done.
Yeah, less than a year.
Less than a year.
A matter of months.
Okay.
They weren't doing that well to begin with, right? And after the UWF debacle, now Sayama, for about the better part of a decade, is done. No more pro wrestling for him. He's dedicating himself to Shooto. So Shooto is his personal fighting philosophy, much like Jeet Kune Do, right? It's derived.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, it's derived from shooting or shoot, the American wrestling term, the current. So he dedicates himself full time to Shooto, which is his fighting philosophy in the vein of a Jeet Kune Do. It's derived from American wrestling language, so to shoot.
Yeah.
Shooting is to have a legitimate wrestling match rather than a worked wrestling match. And he, of course, the Shooto part, the O part, is just to separate it from like the actual like Olympic sport of like shooting. You
Right.
don't want to think people you're training for the decathlon or whatever.
Something like
triathlon.
I always thought it sounded cool. I always thought Shooto sounded
Also,
cool.
it sounds cool, and it sounds like so Japanese.
It does. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
Shooto.
It's
You know what I mean? Like fuck, I'm in. Let's go.
100%.
Let's go. And we're gonna watch Ghibli movies. We're gonna do all that Japanese shit. We're gonna go practice Shooto. So he very quickly establishes like a Shooto circuit. So he's now made it like both a promotion and a philosophy. He's got rules, he's got weight classes, and he holds the first Shooto event, which is technically an amateur event, because I think he structures it very differently than, say, like Pride or UFC does. So he starts with amateur Shooto events.
Smart, because you have to get different sanctions. It's probably a lot easier to put on something like that.
Yeah, and he's treating it like it's a sport.
Yeah.
So he holds the first Shooto event in '86. So
Jeez,
that's
a quick fucking turnaround.
7 years. That's 2 years after quitting the UWF.
Yeah.
And 7 years before the UFC or Pancrase. Because they're in '93.
That's nuts.
So
I thought Shooto and Pancrase were a bit more at the same time. That's crazy.
they're both like Pancrase and UFC are super close.
Yeah.
Shooto '86.
That's
They're holding Shooto. It's an amateur event, but by '89 they're holding professional Shooto tournaments. So now they've got real championships. They've got kind of real stakes. You're making some money. They're bringing in international fighters. It's not just Sayama's students putting on headgear and fighting each other.
Is this like televised and stuff like that at all?
It is televised. I don't know. I don't imagine the first one maybe was televised, but Shooto does get a television deal.
Okay.
And the circuit's like way more regulated than even like any one MMA promotion would be now. So, and even now, like say like Zuffa acquired WEC and Cage Warriors or whatever, all these things. So now they've got like a feeder system.
That's what they did, yeah.
But what Shooto is doing is more of like a ranking. It's more akin to like coming up, say in hockey, where it's like, okay, so when you're in high school, you can play in the QMJHL or the WHL, and then when you're a little bit older, but you don't get drafted, you can play in the AHL and be a reserve or maybe farm your way up into the NHL. So they've got like a ranking system. They've got classes. So the Class D amateurs, they can fight in 2-minute rounds. They've got headgear. They've got a special point system. This is for newbies, beginners, kids.
This is great though, because this is
great.
just like hockey, right? This is a way to like move away up from.
And not like walk into a fucking ring and have to fight Tank Abbott.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you're both getting paid, and they want to feed you to Tank Abbott to make him look good or build him up for something.
Which happens.
So yeah, that's Class D. Class C is 2 3-minute rounds.
Okay.
Class B, and after this, I mean the headgear's done.
Yeah.
Right. After the Class D, Class B is professional, 2 5-minute rounds, and then Class A is 3 5-minute rounds, and that's where you're getting into winning a title.
And again, gear. What are we talking gear here? Like the hands are open. It's just
the gear. I think was a little bit looser.
Right.
Little looser rules. I don't think there were gis though. Like I don't think it wasn't a gi thing.
There's definitely no gi.
But which I like. Surely changed for the Gracies. No, I don't think there's gloves. I couldn't find a whole lot about early pre-Vale Tudo Shooto tournaments.
Good,
like it wasn't something that I could find a whole lot of interesting stuff on. But I do believe it was pretty standard, but not as tight as say modern UFC rules, where it's trunks.
Yeah.
Trunks and
Reebok now, but yeah.
It's no, independent contractors, guys.
Yeah, they fucked over the fighters.
Huh? It switched to Venom.
Is it Venom now? Right? Yeah. Okay.
The hell's Venom?
It's a big MMA brand. Like,
yeah.
But it's the fighters are still getting just as
So you can't even wear normal people clothes. You have to wear dickhead specific clothes.
And the Rock shoes.
The Rock has
You
shoes.
have to walk out with the Rock shoes.
I don't know what to say to that. That was a.
Oh man.
Moving on.
We even fighting is fucking 1984.
Right.
Yeah. So Shooto is pretty much at this point.
How is it received? Like, are people
It's received well, but it's incredibly niche.
right. Yes,
It's still very niche. It's not as popular as the worked shoots of his counterparts who are still doing pro wrestling that looks like real fighting.
Yeah.
And it's not popular enough to kill that in the way that
actual
MMA of the 90s would kind of destroy that genre.
Yeah.
And what really destroys that genre is what Shooto evolves into. Because it evolves into Valley Tudo Japan.
Yeah.
Now, we've spoken pretty extensively about Valley Tudo Japan in the Pride episode 1.
Right.
It's organized by Sayama, and it's a way to bring UFC-style fighting to Japan. Because Pancrase is doing it, but Pancrase itself is quite different from UFC in a lot of ways. Valley Tudo Japan is going to be a showcase for Hicks and Gracie. To get the Gracies over there and try to make a little bit of money on this thing. And also, I think Sayama is extremely fascinated by Valley Tudo. Because Valley Tudo was something that in the 80s became a tape trader thing the same way that Shooto would have been.
Yeah.
Where I'm sure the Shooto guys are getting Valley Tudo tapes and vice versa, and seeing Hicks and Grayson on live TV in Brazil having these oiled up 3-hour matches, you know what I mean? Looking like a fucking god.
I mean...
So this is what eventually leads to Pride.
Yeah.
Is the success of Valley Tudo. It makes a huge star to Hicks and Gracie, and it brings MMA into the real limelight of Japanese culture in a way that Pancrase and Shooto didn't. Pancrase was a lot closer than Shooto. Pancrase, I think, just had a lot of excitement, and it had some young, good-looking stars. Bas Rutten, the Shamrocks. Even Funaki and Suzuki. I mean, Suzuki is a handsome, dangerous-looking motherfucker in those days. Not like now. He looks like a Yakuza garden gnome now. I'm sorry, Mr. Suzuki.
Not a regular garden gnome, a
Yakuza garden gnome. Crazy eyes. So Valley Tudo is super successful, but by 96, Sayama's out of the picture. He's got disagreements with the board of directors. It's a weird thing with all these companies, right? Where, like...
They start them and then they...
Because there's so much financing. Like, outside... Like, it's never like a Vince McMahon situation where, like, until they went public and even after they went public because of Vince McMahon's stock options... like always maintaining 51%, and then having even higher like voting shares. Like that's not how even New Japan Pro Wrestling started by Antonio Inoki. By 1980, like you can kick him out. You know what I mean?
And
so
as you've mentioned multiple times, the Yakuza money has obviously.
And
such a
there's
huge
always
part to play with that, right?
there's always somebody shifting around in the back, right? And Sayama, as always, not super into listening to other people's opinions. So by 96, he's out. He's having disagreements with the board of directors, and the organization expands from like a fight promotion with a loose philosophy behind it to just another combat sport on its own.
Yeah.
So it's not like now it's really trying to be separate from MMA in general. So what they want is for people not to say, "Oh, Shooto is MMA." They want to say, "Oh, instead of MMA, I got into Shooto."
Yeah.
Which is its own standalone sport. I'm sure someone was campaigning to get a Shooto Commonwealth Games, a Shooto Games in the Olympics, something like that. That's what they're aiming for. They've got governing bodies, and they don't want to be seen as a rival to Pride and UFC. They want to be seen as a separate entity. It doesn't really go over. Doesn't really go over because you're competing with Pride now.
Yeah.
And Shooto cannot hold a candle to Pride. It's like going to see wrestling at the Legion and then going to see Monday Night Raw. Yeah. Like, sorry, one's got fireworks and dramatic displays and a 60-foot entrance ramp, and the other one the first 2 matches are going to be like teenagers with headgear. You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to get over in the same way. And even though they're saying they're not competing with, maybe that was part of it, is that they we're not competing with Pride.
Right.
Yes, you are.
If you want to or not.
You are.
Yeah.
You're competing with Pride in the same way that all TV, like, you'd be like, well, hockey's not competing with football. Like, well, motherfucker, if you're on TV at the same time, you are.
Yeah.
Let's see who's getting the ratings. It ain't hockey. So.
But hockey and football aren't on at the same time.
No, they're. I mean, but that's. This is a hypothetical. Also, do you know that?
I'm pretty sure that hockey. Someone's gonna correct us.
I don't feel like the NFL pays any attention to what the NFL
Oh yeah,
is doing.
no, because it goes all the way to February. So yeah, there's definitely.
Yeah,
hockey
I'm
and
sure.
football
Yeah,
at the
they
same
don't
time.
give a
Yeah.
shit. They're not worried about it. March Madness is on at the same time as a hockey game. That's why you go to a pub and they have different TVs.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Modern age.
The only reason I know anything about sports is because the amount of time I spend in pubs.
Yes, yes.
Spend a lot of time in pubs. Some people like
You
to
can
ski
tell
in the
by his
winter.
outfit very clearly that
Yeah,
he spends a lot of
spent
time.
a lot
in
of
pubs.
time at the Prancing Pony Inn with Samwise and Merry and Pippin. So basically, what Shooto becomes is a stepping stone, a place to have a few pro fights before you go to
Try to get to Pride.
have a real fucking career in pro fighting.
Right.
Pride, UFC, whatever. And it still exists to this day. Though very vaguely.
I did not know that existed.
Yeah.
To this day. I thought-
Like there still is Shooto, but I defy you to find it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're on UFC Fight Pass, so I guess it won't be that hard to find. But
Oh shit.
I defy you to see it in the algorithm that is suggested to you.
Okay. Gotta check that out. I did not. I've had it for years. I did not know that.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of, like, you watch UFC and you watch
UFC.
Pride. Maybe you'll go back and watch a Pride fight
I
just
need
to
to
see
do that. I actually
how
haven't
great
done that.
Emelianenko is or something.
I know how I've seen so many. Like he is the fucking best. But I do need to go back and watch some of those fights.
And that's pretty much what it serves at now. But it's the first MMA promotion.
Yeah.
And you can't take that away from it. It's the first MMA promotion for a period. It was the world's biggest and best.
Yeah.
Those Vale Tudo Japan events, UFC wasn't competing with that. You know what I mean? At that point, Pancrase, UFC, they were below Vale Tudo Japan, although they operated in a... Vale Tudo Japan wasn't happening on a circuit the way that those two were. But
Yeah.
it was the premier event of 1994, 1995, 1996. Would have been Vale Tudo Japan events. And it gave us, like, some really great competitors. Anderson Silva, Yuki Nakai, Eric Paulson,
Right.
that scumbag piss bucket waste of meat, Jake Shields.
Wow. I mean, I don't like Jake Shields, but that was harsher than
I meant every
expecting.
fucking word I said. Let's make a YouTube short out of that one.
Can you explain why you hate Jake Shields so much, real quick? before we
Just
go on?
look up Jake Shields, that anti-Semitic fucking
Really?
piece of shit. Jake Shields is what's that kid who just got knocked out and everybody's so happy about it?
Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, he's like Bryce Mitchell 1.0.
Okay.
Yeah. Jake Shield can suck everything on me. How about that?
Well, I mean, if he was in here, he really could because he's a very good grappler. But
Oh yeah, he'd waste me in a fucking heartbeat, surely. But there's other things to being a fucking man.
agreed.
So fuck you, Jake Shields.
Well, JSP fucked him up proper, son.
Oh, love it. So now we go on to round 2. Jimmy, how's the camera?
That's what I was gonna
All
ask.
good?
Yeah?
We're good?
Do you want to take a second?
Jimmy's been tenderly caressing this camera, getting it back into working.
Lovingly.
We might have had a near fire from a little overheating situation.
Jimmy's
Is that
dealt-
safe to say?
Jimmy's dealt with fires before, though, so he knows what to do.
Yeah, that's
Oh, I can't wait to elaborate on that one.
Yep.
So,
Moving on.
as I said, this is a 2-for episode. We're getting 2 birds stoned at once here at Catch Chronicles because we have
Speaking
to.
of Jimmy,
We got to get this bird stone. You got to get high to tolerate me.
no, I just
Listen, I get it. It's like every other relationship I've ever
The first
had.
thing I do when I get up in the morning to smoke weed is not a personal thing. I just smoke a lot of weed.
I only get high when I know I have to see you. That's it.
I knew it.
JB's
Fucking
the only
yeah.
person I know in my life who smokes more weed than me, so that's absolute
No,
bullshit.
I'm completely sober. You might have noticed that every time I see you, I'm also seeing blue. So
Right.
my theory actually holds up.
Nice catch.
Well, I have that effect on people.
We love you nonetheless.
Am I as insufferable on camera as I am in real life? That's going to be the deciding factor.
I'm gonna find out.
This might be a bad business decision for you too. And speaking of insufferable,
Insufferable. Let's get into it.
we're going to talk about Akira Maeda. So the reason we're lumping these two men together is because they kind of splinter off to create the two big shoot fighting networks of the 80s.
At the same time, basically.
At the same time, because almost at the same time. And also, one of them is largely rigged. But Akira Maeda, we spoke about Maeda earlier as the guy who's kind of getting in the ring and shooting on Tiger Mask.
Yeah.
On Satoru Sayama. He's not happy about things that are happening in this UWF situation. And he feels
like he should be at the top, and he could never quite get there.
like he started the promotion.
Yeah.
Sayama waltzes in and pretty much takes it out from under him, right?
Yeah.
So Maeda's 2 years younger. He's born in 59. Kind of a parallel career to Sayama. Much like Sayama and Sakuraba, he's like very influenced by anime. In Maeda's case, Ultraman to get into karate as a kid. He's an obsessive like karate student. He is unlike Sayama though because he's a big boy, and by Japanese standards, he's a fucking giant. He's going at 225, a lanky 6'3", 225.
Jesus.
And Sayama's 190, 5'8", maybe.
That's a
Right? So
big
Maeda is a big boy, trained in karate. He goes to the New Japan dojo 2 years after Sayama in 78.
So trained in the same places.
Trained in the same place. He's discovered at a karate tournament. And he becomes like a top prospect, favorite student of Fujiwara and Karl Gotch. And from the beginning is kind of seen as someone that the office can build around.
Sure.
He's seen as like, we're going to make a top talent out of this guy, right? He could be the new Inoki. This could be the guy to carry the torch. And like Sayama, he's sent to England. He wrestles for Joints Promotions. He's on World of Sport as Quick Kick Lee because how could they not name anyone vaguely Asian after Bruce Lee? Especially Quick Kick spelled Kwik Kik because yeah.
That one hurt.
For what it's worth, at the same time in Joint Promotion, there was a Japanese wrestler named Kenda Nagasaki who was just a fucking English guy under a mask who would like walk to the ring with like a cane and yeah. So whatever, wrestling was so racist, and now it's only subtly racist in the way that they make the two guys who look like bikers wrestle the two black guys who were disgruntled at WrestleMania. Yeah. So he's going on his excursions. He comes back to Japan in '82, and he's positioned immediately as a new big wrestling star. He's being pushed hard, which is that's what you do, right? You send the guys away, they come back, and just the fact that they've been around makes them a star
100%.
in Japan, right?
Yeah.
And back then they didn't even have to really like succeed at anything while they were gone because nobody knew. It wasn't a global world. You can lie.
Yeah.
The Intercontinental Championship was won for decided in a tournament in Brazil. The tournament never happened, right? You can just lie. Fuck it.
Yeah.
No one's gonna know. So he's back. He's wrestling the top Gaijins. He's wrestling Hulk Hogan. He's in the first International Wrestling Grand Prix, the IWGP, which is a huge deal. Like right now, the top wrestling title in Japan is the IWGP heavyweight title. So he's touring America with the WWF. So he's going to New York. He's wrestling in Madison Square Garden. They make him the WWF International Martial Arts Champion. They give him a belt. Basically, they make a belt to give to him, right? And he comes back and he's sick of it and he leaves, right? So
Just a theme here. Right?
yeah, he's a little grumpy. He doesn't like his position on the card. He definitely doesn't want to lose to all these Americans that he could fucking whoop. So he leaves with Fujiwara and Karl Gotch and Hisashi Shinma, and they start the UWF. So the UWF starts. He's the man there. He's a huge part of bringing this legitimate style to wrestling.
Right.
Even though it starts as just a wrestling company, but pretty quickly the Fujiwara, Maeda, Gotch influence starts to make it look a little more like martial arts, a little more like a real fight. And then Sayama comes in and he fucking takes it from him, right? And this is where you start to see the grumpy Maeda of Classic, who's going to go in there and throw a few live rounds and ruin the whole company. But, the boys liked him.
Yeah.
He was on the boys' side at this time. And
You're saying he was well liked in the locker room for some reason.
I think he was well liked in the locker room as the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of situation. Like, it's like voting, right? Like, which one of these fuckers do I hate least? All right, well, I'm with Maeda then. Maeda leaves. UWF folds in early '85. Maeda goes back to New Japan Pro Wrestling, and he goes back as a pretty big star because he's gone, left, established himself. And he was already on the way to becoming a big star in New Japan.
Yeah.
And also, there's a very good chance that New Japan was behind UWF the whole time, right? With the way that the political Shinma leaving, taking the fall for Inoki, coming back, all this shit, right?
So Japanese.
Maeda, though, is a grumpy prick. He refuses to work with Inoki. And what could have been a very big angle made him a lot of money, made the company a lot of money, but he knew he was going to have to lose, so he refuses to do it. And Inoki he's the founder, he's the booker, he's the top star. He's fucking Walt Disney. You know what I mean? And then Maeda has one of the craziest shoots of all time, where he gets in the ring with a very wasted Andre the Giant, and they're both refusing to play ball. It's
drunk Andre the Giant.
Yeah. And this
is there any scarier word?
This is mid '80s Andre, so he's not like he can barely walk. Like, you know what I mean? It's not Andre the Giant of the '70s, who was a great wrestler and it was just a big, massive, powerful, entertaining, mobile.
Was he a really good wrestler?
He was a great wrestler.
Yeah.
You can find some footage of Andre in the '70s, even into basically before he broke his ankle getting out of bed once. Oh. And that pretty much sealed the deal for him, and then he starts putting the weight on.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Of course.
But he was a really dynamic performer, but before anybody saw him, right? Before he was on WWF TV full time, before the big '80s expansion. By the time Vince Jr. took over, Andre's best days were behind him, and Vince pretty much gets that big WrestleMania payday out of him, and then
that's it.
Discards him. At this point, he's a little closer to that than he is to being the real bad, fucking hell of a talent, Andre the Giant. But what he is he's a giant, right? He's a legitimate, massive man, and he's a chronic drinker. And apparently, the story goes, maybe the boys in the locker room, maybe even Inoki himself, kind of went over to Andre and said, "Let me rough this fucking kid up, all right? He's too big for his britches. Why don't you go out there and teach this kid a thing or two?"
Here's a shot.
So Andre gets pissed drunk, goes to the ring. He's threatening Maeda. He's grabbing at him. He's no-selling all of Maeda's offense, which is mostly leg kicks because Maeda knows better at this point. He gets a few takedowns on Andre, but you can't do a whole lot with him once he's down. Largely is pretty much immobile at this point, but the plan backfires. It turns out Andre the Giant is not teaching Maeda a fucking thing. Like, Maeda can't beat him, but Andre's kind of at Maeda's mercy at this point, right?
The opposite of
there's a lot of leg kick, very Inoki Ali, a lot of leg kicks, a couple trips, and eventually Andre realizes this isn't going anywhere. He wants to go, so he just lies down on the mat and tries to invite Maeda to pin him. Like, just fucking pin me. Let's get this over with. Maeda doesn't really trust that scenario. You know, should I just get closer to you so you can grab a hold of me? Giant, man. Huge French giant. Drunk, angry giant. So Inoki comes down, to the ring, causes this huge fracas. There's people interviewing. They make this huge schmoz finish. The crowd is horribly disappointed, like vocally disappointed, which is a very rare thing in Japan.
Yeah.
Pretty much every time it's ever happened, we've already brought it up on this show. And Maeda's like suspended indefinitely for this. So no, I'm a liar. That's not yet. Maeda is pretty much completely unpunished for this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nothing happens.
And I think part of it is because, like, in Japanese culture, it's still kind of like, well, he won. Like, we respect his fighting spirit for not laying down for the giant and taking the beating. He fought back, and he got the better of Andre. But this doesn't mean Maeda gets booked exactly the way he wants to be, and it doesn't mean that he stops being a prick. So later in the year, maybe a year later, he's in a match, 6-man tag match with a guy named Riki Choshu. And Riki Choshu is an Olympic level, like he went to the Olympics in amateur wrestling.
Damn.
He's a bad man. And Riki Choshu basically sets up what in America we would call a sharpshooter, like Bret Hart's finishing move, a submission move. He ties up a guy's leg, he turns him over, and he kind of wrenches on his back. And Maeda comes in the ring to break it up, and Shoot kicks Choshu in the face as hard as he can and breaks his orbital bone. At this point, the match falls to shit. Choshu's trying to get at Maeda, and Maeda wants nothing to do with him. Like, he's not coming in to fight him. And Maeda claims it was an accident. What he basically says is that, like, he gave Choshu a heads up to block the kick, and Choshu didn't block the kick. Which maybe is true, but there's still no need for him to kick him that hard. It's a work. I don't care if you keep pretending to be real, Mr. Maeda, it's a work.
An orbital bone. Like you
Yeah,
gotta put
yeah.
some hip.
These are guys that take a lot of blows, you know what I mean? So he throws a real kick. He breaks the orbital bone of a man who probably would kill him.
Yeah.
Like, Maeda's no slouch, but I think Choshu's a legit, like he's an Olympic level wrestler. Like, don't let him get a hold of you. You'd have a lot more trouble with that than you did with the giant. And it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, so are you incompetent or are you an asshole?
Right.
You know,
right.
which is a situation we've all been in and nobody wants to ever be in again, right? Yeah. Are you a dickhead or are you just really bad? Are you a jabroni?
Yeah.
You know?
I've been both.
And now Maeda's suspended.
Okay.
But they don't fire him. They want to send him to Mexico. They're like, okay, just cool down. Just go to Mexico, learn a new hold, go work over there for a little while, and then you can come back and we'll all have cooled down and maybe Choshu won't kill you. And he says no. He doesn't want to learn Lucha Libre. He wants to keep kicking people as hard as he can and getting paid and having a way for them not to kick him back. So one person says he's fired. He says he quit. Doesn't really matter. He's gone. Now he forms the newborn UWF. We've gone into that. It's got a hot start. It falls apart like fucking immediately.
Before 2 years, right? I think. Like.
Oh yeah. I think it's 87 to 89. It's gone. But he's like a big deal. Like, the promotion doesn't do well, but Maeda's a huge star now.
Yeah.
Because of this weird Japanese thing where they like really respect the way he takes advantage of people. Like, I don't really get it. It may be like because at the time it wasn't as easy to know what was really happening in pro wrestling. There was still like a huge element of kayfabe even in Japan where like you couldn't just go on the internet and find out what happened last night.
Right.
You couldn't get the real scoop from some insider in the locker room. Like, that didn't exist. All you knew was that he fucking knocked Choshu out, or that he got in a real fight with a giant. It seems like he's not laying down for anybody. So I guess they respect Maeda for that. He's going to the Tokyo Dome. He's got this take what you want, fucking Shogun. I don't know. He's over. And after the newborn UWF falls apart, Maeda's kind of mentor Fujiwara starts Fujiwara Gamai.
Right.
Takada, who was his protege, goes on to form the UWFI, and of course we see Takada later on get dummied over and over again, and then try to have worked fights in Pride to get a little reputation back. And Maeda starts fighting Network rings. So, fighting Network rings.
Yeah, what is? Because I've heard this very, very vaguely, but I've never had any idea what it actually was.
It starts as another worked shoot promotion. So it starts as another, we're going to pretend these fights are real, but they're not promotion. Kind of like the last few things he's done, like the newborn UWF, the UWF, like the UWFI would be. But eventually it starts to hold actual fights. And by the mid-90s, the MMA boom, it becomes like
real thing,
a
right?
full shoot fighting event.
Right.
But like at first, it's work shoots. At first, it's let's try to have a wrestling match that isn't see-through. By 91, they're having some shoot fights, apparently. It's debatable, but they're saying that like, oh, a couple of the fights on the card were
Will
real.
actually be.
Yeah, we're gonna have a few tests. Probably foreigners, you know. And they would bring in a lot of legitimate fighters. So they liked in that kind of Inoki kind of way. Like, we're going to bring in legitimate judokas and these world-class wrestlers and kickboxers and stuff. And we're going to have our wrestlers beat them.
Yeah.
But maybe we'll have a legitimate fight now and then. We'll have to pay them more. But maybe we'll have a legitimate fight now and then. But by 95, you've got Pancrase, UFC, Vale Tudo, Japan. And they stop being a pro wrestling promotion. They start being a premier fighting promotion. They're an MMA thing now. Now, that's not to say there were no works.
Right.
Because at the same time, Pride was doing works. And maybe UFC was doing works. So I don't really...
I really don't. In my opinion, I've never seen a UFC fight that I thought was fixed.
I've got no proof. I'm too suspicious.
It's fair, and that's fair. But I will ask, what do you think the percentage of Pride fights that were fixed? And just your...
I would say
opinion.
straight up fixes, like 4%.
Very, so few.
I think there was a lot of manipulation.
Explain what you mean. Just
Like
again,
manipulating brackets
right,
to
just setting things
feed her
up.
opponents.
Yeah.
I
was hearing Chocolate Hill talk about that.
Yeah,
Who he fought, you know. It was
there's a
random.
lot. There's a lot of very like documented instances of contracts being reneged on, changing rules, changing the fighters, short notice, things like that, where they weren't necessarily getting everyone involved to agree that they were going to fix a fight. But maybe this referee's got a little bias in the call.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Just little simple things where you don't have to get everyone on board.
That makes sense to me.
You can work the fight without anybody knowing.
Because it just, especially with such a savage style, it seemed weird to me that it would be, that you even could fix some of these fights. Because, an elbow lands, Like,
Yeah, the thing about Pride is, like, I would say almost all the fights that were fixed, any of the fights that were fixed, you could watch and be like, well, that's a fucking fix. The Mark Coleman Takada fight, you watch that, you know the fix is in, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of things would be more like, fucking Olympics get kind of fixed, depending on who the judge is, unfair judge scoring.
Gymnastics is famous for it.
Yeah, so like there's certain ways to fix a fight without getting a guy to agree to lose.
I appreciate it.
Or even getting the guy who's going to win to agree to win.
Right. I wasn't sure, 'cause
yeah.
it would seem a little strange if you thought there was consistent fights that were just like
No,
fully,
I don't
fully
think.
works,
I think
basically.
I would say the full works were very rare.
Very okay.
I would say that manipulations were fucking constant.
Constant, not even common.
I would
Okay.
say like maybe every event probably had something that was manipulated to
Right.
get what they wanted out of it.
Right.
But
it is making money in the end, right?
it's making money. That's why I don't trust anything. That's why I don't trust I don't trust hockey. Let me tell you one thing. The Toronto Maple Leafs stopped being the most profitable team in the league. They might get a little bit fucking closer to that cup. All right? I'm just saying.
I'm not making any comments about hockey.
I've watched like 3 hockey games in my life. But everything's rigged. Maeda is by the time they get to shoot fighting, to proper legitimate MMA, Maeda's long beyond his fighting prime.
Yeah.
But he's the hand rocking the cradle. It's his promotion. He's got this reputation of being a bully that again is admired in Japan. He's
Well
this
earned, sounds.
lovable bully who's
Lovable bully. That is a
who,
weird
like yeah.
fucking statement.
I think from like a North American mindset, we
No.
do not like it at all.
No.
Like I don't find him endearing in any sense. And you see him like, you know, one of his students fucks up or loses a fight, and they have footage of him in the locker room with Maeda slapping the shit out of him, like throwing him out of the locker room. Just publicly bullying and assaulting and harassing fighters for losses and poor performances. But, you know, is Dana White that different? Besides the
Dana
fact
White's
that...
a piece of shit.
Yeah, besides the fact that Dana White would never dare lay a hand on any of these cats because they'd fucking break
Crush
him.
him, yeah.
Because his brain cannot handle another strike. It's kind of the same thing where it's like anyone who likes Dana White can't be trusted.
No.
You can be you gotta admire his drive. No, you don't.
Dude.
I don't fucking admire his drive. His mother doesn't admire his drive.
He threw his money under the bus. He in his
Yeah.
own book, he threw his money under the bus. It's
Yeah, I don't.
kind of insane.
I got no time for that shit. Be it Dana White or Akira Maeda. I don't like Akira Maeda. But hey, rings did effectively provide a takeoff point for a lot of MMA fighters. Kiyoshi Tamura being kind of their top draw. Amelia Nanko fought for them.
Right.
Alistair Overeem and his brother fought for them. Elvis Sinosic, Chris Dolman, Volkan, the Nogueira brothers.
Fucking Christ.
Dan Henderson, Jeremy Horn, Randy Couture. All these cats went over and fought for Fighting Network rings. So they put
That's
on
why I know the name.
interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a stepping stone promotion, and it's also something that existed and was a good payday before UFC could be a full-time payday
Course,
for these
of course.
guys, right? Or especially, I mean, now UFC is still only a full-time payday for like a dozen people.
It's very true. Maybe half a dozen.
He has his last kind of big go. This is fucking unreal to me. So he announces his retirement match in '99, and he's going to face off against Alexander Karelin. Are you familiar with Alexander Karelin?
No.
Okay. You got to look him up. Alexander Karelin is perhaps the greatest athlete who ever lived. He is, I would say, undoubtedly the greatest wrestler who ever lived. Russian.
Oh fuck!
Freak.
No, what am I talking about? I absolutely like this
Yeah.
motherfucker who would just pick giant men off the
Yeah.
ground.
The Karelin gut wrench.
God.
Yeah.
Like what was his record? Like 182 in one or something
Yeah.
like that.
I think he
Like,
lost one fight, and
one-
he was like, "Oh, that's enough."
And they actually had to like change the rules on him just to even make him lose that. Like no.
Yeah, Karelin's a freak.
He is. Like,
He's a Putin lapdog, but he's what a wrestler.
What a wrestler.
And Maeda chooses him for his last fight, as a man who's pretty much never won a fight anyway. You know what I mean? He won one fight against a drunk, crippled giant. So this is like an Ali Inoki level of freak show, except for there's no way. There was a way Inoki could have beat Ali.
Yeah. He had read like I mean he was a
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
striker.
Short of a fucking semi-automatic. I don't think a knife would have done it. He would have needed a gun to beat Alexander Karelin, and he sure doesn't beat him. He lost, but he drew an incredible gate. Like, they got huge numbers on TV, tons of widespread press coverage. They're in Sports Illustrated. They're in North American TV. They're in a huge deal in Russia. So it is like a hell of a send-off for him. In a situation that he walked into knowing he was going to lose, right? Like, this isn't Takada not understanding Rickson Gracie's going to kill him. This is a man who knows that Alexander Karelin could break him like a soda cracker.
Yeah.
But whatever, he's going out with a big old payday in front of a lot of people with a lot of press. He's going to be a legend. And it's also one of those things where it's like, yeah, I lost to Alexander Karelin.
Yeah.
So
did everybody else.
Yeah. What?
And frankly, most fighters, it's a tough thing about the sport that I love is that most like Anderson Silva, it was not good at the end. You know, like most fighters have a pretty rough exit. So,
yeah. Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like what
Tony
happened.
Ferguson, BJ Penn. I mean, like.
What was better than watching Khabib beat McGregor like a little bitch?
Well, that was the.
Few things have been more satisfying. So
Sorry, shout out Robbie Lawler. The fact that you went out with that as your last performance, especially given the punishment and
Yeah, and
just
the
how
career,
amazing you've had,
the
fucking
length of
Robbie
career.
Lawler, man, so happy for you. That was fucking amazing.
Good job, Robbie. I played as you in the first UFC game for Dreamcast when I was a kid. Fucking animal.
Fucking animal, man.
So, like, yeah. Rings closed its door in 2002. It just couldn't keep up.
Yeah.
You know, especially Pride. Like, all the fighters that we listed that were names that we know, they're fighting for Pride now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Or UFC, yeah.
Or UFC. Yeah. The Rings payday is not going to be taking care of them. They're not going to be getting the
5K
sponsorship.
is
Yeah,
not gonna cover
yeah. That $5,000 plus hotel. You can't bring your training camp out on $5,000 plus hotel, and you're not going to go fight for Fighting Network rings and get a chic Razor sponsorship.
Right. Yeah.
You're not going to be on the soap operas. No. You're not going to be on the game shows. You know what I mean? So it's like one good thing about it, I would say, is it got out before the whole Pride scandal.
Okay.
So it didn't have to suffer through the death of MMA in Japan.
Right.
The way that Shooto or like Ryzen or any company that's still rolling along in Japan is scraping by.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Rings
got to have this huge fucking fight and then have a couple bad years and close up. It is kind of undeniable though, like just the incredible influence of Maeda as a man who wasn't a pro fighter.
Right.
Him and Takada would be the greatest pro fighters who couldn't pro fight. You know what I mean?
That's fat. That is
the greatest
really
pro fighters
interesting.
who were strictly pro wrestlers.
Yeah.
Sayama was a little bit more of a. Sayama's not far from this, but he's got a little bit more of a competitive pedigree.
Yeah.
Just through like holding and establishing these Shooto tournaments and creating his own fight philosophy.
Style.
His own
that's a fucking
his own
thing.
style. You know, these guys are just these are dudes that trained in karate and loved Karl Gotch and got some of that Wigan influence and probably could have creamed any normal person on the street.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
But they're going against fucking just the best of the best.
They're going against the best of the best. And he couldn't... What it really comes down to with Maeda, I think the unfortunate thing, is that he was a lot more like Karl Gotch
Too much ego.
as a person and a lot less like Karl Gotch as a fighter. Because he had the same problems Karl had. He wouldn't play ball. It had to be his way. He wasn't going to lie down for anybody and make money. You know what I mean? The only difference was
Which is good.
by the time real fighting became real fighting, he wasn't going to be hurting nobody in the locker room the way that Karl Gotch was. You know what I mean? But Akira Maeda...
I mean,
as a human, you were the drizzling shits, but you're a pretty good fight promoter.
and I got to give you credit to give him his proper due, because you
Yeah.
gotta get credit where credit's due, and even if you don't,
I'll give him his due.
You fucking your research, you put in the time, and I feel like you gave him a fairly honest shake. I would think.
Yeah, I wasn't too hard on you at all, Akira Maeda.
Fuck you, bitch.
Thank you, Javi.
Cheers.
See you next week, gang.